Emily in Paris director breaks down Twisty Season 4 finale and why it breathed a lot of life into the show. Andrew Fleming, who is also an executive producer, talks about the major future implications of that final shocker. That's right. At least for now, Emily, Lively Collins, is living out her best Lizzie McGuire movie fantasies in Italy's capital. The season ends with her moving to Rome to set up and run Agence Grateau's new office in the city, where she'll be working with her latest love interest, Marcello, Eugenio Franceschini. A lot happens before that, though. Camille decides to adopt a child and do things on her own. Sylvie's stepdaughter Genevieve, Calia Besson, comes to stay in Paris and shake things up both at Agence Grateau and between Gabriel and Emily. Mindy and Nico break up when he destroys her and the band's chance at Eurovision. But ultimately, things work out because Chinese pop star calls and wants Mindy to be a judge and sing her new song. Things also work out for Alfie, who by season's end has a new girlfriend and ends up offering advice to newly Michelin star Gabriel, telling him to take his pride out of the equation, stop thinking and feeling, and fight to win Emily back. Bon conseil. Alfie. The last we see of everyone, Gabriel is asking Mindy where in Rome Emily is, at the same time as Emily is seen happily jetting off on a Vespa with Marcello. Hugh, what dreams are made of by Hilary Duff. Naturally, all of this has major implications for the show moving forward, so Entertainment Weekly chatted with director and executive producer Andrew Fleming to answer our burning questions about that finale, discuss how the season got more adult, more complicated, and what it all means for the series' future. Well, we knew that there were places where we wanted to go in France. We wanted to go to the Alps. We wanted to go to the Côte d'Azur and Provence and Champagne, where Camille's family is. But Darren, star, series creator, and I have been talking about this since the beginning, that Rome would be the next logical place, just because it's sort of the yin to Paris yang. It's the romantic city in Europe that isn't Paris. I mean, there are a lot of romantic cities in Europe, but it's the other big thing. And also Sylvie's character lived in Italy and speaks Italian, and so does Bruno Gueri. So there was this organic way to kind of enter the culture that way. We finished Paris, and then the rest of the shoot was in Rome, which was sort of good. We really had to get out of Paris because the Olympics were ramping up, and it was becoming more and more difficult to shoot there. Well, not difficult, but limited. There were places we couldn't shoot. And in fact, I think we were the last of any form of production to shoot there before the Olympics. We were the last ones. There was a fair amount of cutting back and forth between Rome and Paris, and there's one sequence in episode 9 with the two parties, one going on in Paris, one going on in Rome. On the page, it was really just a couple of lines, but I really wanted to make it kind of spectacular. I love the idea of two different parties in different cities, but parallel things are happening to two characters, and I was really happy with the way that sequence came out. It was a lot of work. And then the finale, the very, very last couple of scenes are mostly in Rome, but there's this kind of trompe l'oeil, trick of the eye, where you're in between Paris and Rome for a moment there without giving anything away. Here's this sequence that takes place in Rome with Emily and Marcello, but we catch glimpses of what's happening with Gabriel, and that was fun. It was like a little bit of a trickery going on in terms of technique. I really like that this show, for a half-hour comedy, we get to be very cinematic. I get to play with the camera and technique and style, so it's a lot of fun for me. It's a challenge, but it's fun. I think what was really interesting about the script for episodes 9 and 10 was that they weren't typical Emily episodes. That there was this kind of languor, a little bit of maturity. When she gets to Rome, it isn't as hyperactive as it is in Paris. She kind of slows down, she takes a breath. There's a scene on the Spanish Steps, and she just relaxes and says, I need to do this. I need to get off the treadmill of work events, sleep, work events, sleep in Paris. In Rome, she just gets to be a tourist and she starts thinking about her life outside of work. And that's really what the season, especially the end of the season, is really about, her appreciating her life and not necessarily making work everything. It's possible, or set up for it. I was wondering how we were going to do Eurovision, and we kept wondering about that. And then I got distracted by this other thing, which was doing a musical number at Crazy Horse, and that was my musical number quotient for the end of this season.